Welcome back to my corner tea bar and stuff. I mean, there's a point where there's so much you can talk about tea and then it just becomes boring, right? So you talk over tea. Have some tea, mention the tea that you're having, but talk. That's what tea's about. It's about talking stuff, thinking, having space here. Well, there are different things that I've been trying to talk about, but this time I think I'm going to talk about one very polemic thing, and that is calling drinking tea a ceremony. And there's hardly anything else that makes me be like, I get like a thing there. And every time I rant about this, it takes me like 40 minutes to say something about it. But this time I'm gonna make it quick. First, let's talk about this tea. There's another video when I'm drinking it already. It's from Stone Leaf Tea. I think I'm gonna get the last of it. It's a raw pu'er. It's a cake from 2021, Nano Shan, Queen Mu, Kiao Mu, or something like that. It's pretty good. If you're careful with timing, you can use boiling water, depending on how many steeps. This is steep number like 20, so at this point it's just refreshing. Um, but yeah, it's a ceremony. Like, why would you call it a ceremony? I guess some people make it a ceremony, and I see, being looking on Instagram, people. I don't really. I mean, I have an Instagram, but really, I'm not really participant of that much. But I see that there's a bunch of Westerners sitting on the floor drinking tea in a way that it's like that's kind of like how they imagine that Chinese people drink tea on the floor and with certain attires and it's kind of like pretend play, which is all fun and good. I don't think that you need to be offended about what some people call cultural appropriation. It's kind of like a celebration of a culture. So they think it's cool, and we're trying to be like that and all that. But as someone else on the internet said once, it's all good until you start gatekeeping. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. It means like now I am an expert on something that I have no idea about, and I'll tell you how to do it. I'll give you an example. Like I like drinking tea with a traditional-ish, like a modern Gong Fu style of drinking tea. And it is obviously no ceremony. This is a bar where there's not just tea, but there's also rum, and you know, we could be we could be having a barbecue out there, and that won't be like a red meat ceremony, right? Why would this be a tea ceremony? And I don't know. Do I need a special dress, special costume to make do a barbecue? Maybe I do, and it would be cool. Like for Fourth of July, have dress in a certain way and do a barbecue, and it's all fun and good stuff, right? But what is like the only way of barbecuing correctly is so and such way, and I don't know. You're not even from where that culture is originally, or have no exposure to it that much. You know, I think it should be done a little simpler. I like the way that um, Kung Fu is done because of a few reasons, and it's not a ceremony. Again, I mean, like I don't think I need to like really go deep into that. You gotta be a little weird to consider it a ceremony. And of course, there's gonna be people trying to sell you things, and they're gonna call it a ceremony because there are some people that are trying to like have this kid pretend play thing, and they want to do the thing, and it's kind of like cute and foreign, so whatever. So the example I wanted to give you is mate. I drink mate. It's kind of a common thing in my country, where I'm from, and so people drink mate, but it's not a ceremony either. It's not a big deal. And I remember once seeing this guy had a bunch of gourds and straws in a telegraph in Berkeley, and I got close there to buy one. It's like, oh, cool, I'm gonna buy another one because they last for a while, but then they start. It's a gourd, so start decomposing or breaking or whatever. I have a little collection. I'm gonna show you pictures of it, and the dude starts telling me about it, like, this is how you do it, and the native there, and then he tells me some BS story about how to drink mate and why, and like a ceremony, trying to sell me some foreign alien thing. But little he knew that I was very familiar with it, and we don't really make a big deal about it. So that's kind of a thing. You don't need to be wearing a poncho with a special like Andean hat, and then you can drink mate. It's not the thing. Sitting on a rock, playing pan flutes to drink mate. You don't need to. You like mate, you drink it. But it kind of feels good when you're using the right utensils. It feels better. You know what I mean? You can definitely do it in other ways. Therefore, you have some canned drinks, which are pretty good. But there's something about the original way that it's nice, it's enjoyable. And this is what happened with this. So tea basically saw all that utensils have evolved with it or for it, you know, to be done in a certain way, and the way that people have cultivated tea and cured it and made different kinds of it's all basically in kind of using the same utensils to drink it, and it's a little different than Western style tea is mostly with very permissive teas such as red tea, Hongcha, what they call black tea, or we call black tea, um, and stuff like that. That you can use a little bit of leaves, a lot of water, and you have one brew that tastes all the same. And you can put cream and sugar in it, and there are some pastries and whatever. It's kind of how I grew up with once, which is our tea time in Chile, around 5. You have tea, but the tea is not an important thing. It's not the center of it at all. It's just something you drink with. And people like it. Uh, Drunk tea in the morning and drunk tea in the evening every day for pretty much my whole life. But it was never an important thing. It was always what we call Ceylon tea, which is black tea or Hongcha, and low quality tea. No one cared. Just tastes good, whatever. People put a lot of sugar in it too. So it's just kind of like whatever. But um, I don't know what I was going with that. But so it would be difficult for me, which I have a lot of exposure to tea, to buy into the sitting on the floor to have tea. You just kind of like think about it, like it's pretty ridiculous. I don't know. I don't think that even like British people or Russian people that drink a lot of tea will be buying into that as much as Americans do, that are so disconnected to their original tea culture. Like the Boston Tea Party, man. Like it was a big deal here. But it's been replaced like coffee for like 200 years, and so that we're disconnected and we don't feel ridiculous sitting on the floor and using these little utensils. Now, why the utensils? Why it looks ritualistic? Well, it is a moment in which you know, like you're having a meal and you decide to prepare a meal, instead of just buying some made meal. So let's say a cup of tea with tea bagging would be like buying your TV dinner, and making a tea like this would be going to the farmer's market and picking the ingredients and enjoying the process of picking them, cooking them, and all of that. I take it farther. Ooh, that probably sounded pretty loud. I take it farther. I grow my own stuff, right? So when I cook a meal with all my own stuff, it's from the thinking of what am I gonna grow the season before, or even saving seeds from the plants the year before, all the way till it makes it to the table and I eat it and it becomes me, right? Well, somewhere in there there is tea, and the way you participate on it, just participate with the experience on it, of it. If you make a big drink, big tea thing, and take it like I do with my 2 liter thermos when I go to work, it's on the go thing, and it doesn't have a um, social like lubricant part of the thing. But when either you're drinking like this or by yourself or with other people, you either have to pay more attention to what you're doing so you get the result you're looking for. Or also when you're with people, you are basically kind of like when you're having some drinks. When you're drinking tea, you're not drinking alcohol, but you still are talking and drinking thing and talking about the tea. It's like drinking whiskey or whatever else, sampling wine. But someone is kind of cooking it, right? Because you're making a soup basically out of it. Then you have to, now with these utensils, using more um, leaf, less water, you have the control of the temperature, you have the control of the ratios and the time that is steeping, and then you can serve it, right? And hopefully you made your drink, nice. It's kind of like probably what this bar was built for was because it has a little sink here. People were mixing drinks, and there was a process. It was a mixed drink. It wasn't just like putting from the bottle on top of ice. People was probably here like mixing some mai tais or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they liked. Let me see what I'm gonna drink. Um, but you get the idea. I don't think there's when we go to the bar we call it a booze ceremony, right? We have fun. We talk and that this is dialing from India and end up just having a good time. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get this a white tea here. There you go. Shomei, organic shomei. So that's the thing we're calling this organic. I mean, calling this a ceremony. I don't agree. It's not. You may make anything into a ceremony, but that doesn't mean that this is a ceremony. You may make a ceremony out of anything. You may make a ritual out of anything. But ceremony, I think, semantics of it really mean that there's some official procedure and a structured way in which it is performed, and for the most part it's a public thing where people participate and there's like a dress code and all kinds of stuff. So that's why when people are dressing kind of like a Chinese person and sitting on the floor and they're not Chinese, obviously it's kind of cringe. But I, I can see that there is appreciation of a culture and something really cool, which is the culture of tea, which is super um, intricate with humans. This shomei is from stone leaf. This is the white tea, is organic. Shouldn't be it shouldn't be like a extremely complex thing, but we'll see. As you saw, I rinsed a little bit this stuff, but didn't really wash it. I was drinking raw water before that, and it's herbaceous and sweet to the nose for just when I'm smelling, right? And it's a rinse. So this is the rinse, so I'm not going to move that. This is a counter. See how many steeps I get from something, and it's still good. Raw puer is good for a long time, so I don't use that. White tea can be as well, aged white tea especially. Floral, but it really has that background floral thing, man. I don't know, like I think that maybe in Stone Leaf, someone likes to burn some incense that has some sort of fragrance. That I think the teas are a little too floral in the same way, all of them. But not really. Mostly the Nepalese teas from Junchi Yabari. Which, if that's the case, I'll be eating my foot and saying that maybe Junchi Yabari has something they produce using the same utensils that makes everything, or using the same facility that makes everything smell floral. But it's very faint in this one. Let me see. From 2025. It doesn't say, it's Chinese. Okay, so it's not Junchi Yabari. So yeah, maybe maybe um, making myself taste stuff that is not happening. It's very nice. And also very nice for I was gonna dump this rinse, but it's very sweet and almost like fresh grass cut, like green tea. But that aftertaste, that sweet aftertaste of some black teas. But I think that's just the sun drying process, the withering gives you that profile. We'll see. So yeah, Gongfu tea drinking is just using a small vessel to brew it, a decanting vessel, to stop the process of steeping and being able to have a homogenized liquor to pour to other smaller cups. And you also enjoy teas that are made to have a journey, not just one flat steep, but an opening and a peak, and then a slope out with different notes and different things are happening. So oolongs are kind of like that. They have a variety of things that are happening through the drinking of it. White teas are kind of like that for me too. So it just enhances the experience. Just like if you were gonna drink your expensive wine with your friends, you wouldn't be giving them your coffee mugs or some paper cups. You would probably want to serve them in a nice cup, so it enhances the experience. Just like you dress up nice to go out and whatever, it's not a big deal. It's not a big thing, and it's a pleasure to do this, right? You play with your little, you know, teacups and guy ones and cups, and you get to buy this other set and try it, and it's good looking, and I made this thing, and someone made that for me, someone made that for me. So it's cool. But it's not a ceremony, not at all. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't a ceremony for someone that. Well, that brings me to the Japanese and the way they have a matcha ceremony. The ceremony is not so much about the tea. Oh, it's not so much about the tea. Ah, nice one. It's about is about the ceremony, and that's what really is all about. It's like in mass, the the drinking of the wine representing blood of Christ is not so much about like, oh, we're gonna go have some wine, and oh, what is it? Oh, it's about Jesus' blood. It's not about that. It's the opposite. So no one cares about the wine quality. It's just a represent. It's just something that. So I guess they will use better quality matcha and whatever. But the whole point of it is to do some choreographed, perfectly done and executed thing that puts you in a place where it's meditative. And it comes from Zen Buddhism and the use of tea in meditation. And in Zen Buddhism, everything is kind of like that. You, especially like monk monastery, like everything is very organized, and the movements are calculated, and it's all conducive to state of mind. But that's not why we drink tea. That's just the Japanese, how they do it, and whatever. Chinese don't give a damn. They just want to drink good tea. And not everyone, though. So some people like it. Some people don't even know what the hell is going on with tea. They drink coffee, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna give a little bit to my wife's cup there because it was getting dried and with a rim, so it's gonna help me wash it. Okay, so first tip: this grass here is hot, so I have the opinion that if you let white tea rest on your gangdo bay, it will change its profile to a more floral and complex thing. And when the white tea is too hot after being brewed, it's good to brew it hot, but don't drink it so hot because it will be more complex than if you serve it just too hot. People are not going to get it. So if you're serving other people, just make sure your white tea has some time to cool down. Ask them about something, whatever, before you pour in their glass. I use these cups now. I used to have those insulated cups, and I use these cups because it cools down quicker. A little bit of hay feel, kind of herbaceous profile there. You know what I mean with profile, kind of like a background overall thing. I taste lychee and dried apricot, but very subtle. And I'm not using a lot of leaf on this tip, so I will do the next one to not bore you to death with a little bit less temperature, but a little bit more time. Now that water's gone through it, although I see the leaves are not fully uh, impregnated with water. Definitely a delicious tea that I would serve to people that don't know about white tea and they want to try it, or someone who just wants to have white tea more refreshing. As the saying says, when it's hot, white tea cools you down, and when it's cold, white tea warms you up. So it's very nice. It's very easy to drink, unlike I don't know, like a Shang Pu'er or some more pungent oolongs. Get a couple of leaves there in the Ganga. It's showing a little bit more color here. The second tip is releasing a more golden. See if you can see that. I think you have more water left. We'll, we'll just discuss this one and then call it a day. Yeah. What do you think about it? What do you think about it being a ceremony? I absolutely don't like it when people do that, and I don't like it when people lift their pinky either. But hey, man, that's me, and this is my bar. This is how we roll here. But nobody to tell anyone how to drink the tea. Just that's gatekeeping, and that's when I get a little annoyed with people that is telling you that you need expensive hardware or expensive things to have good tea or a good cup of tea. There are medium priced teas that are great, man, and I tried more expensive things that are not as great. It's not directly proportionate. Yeah, directly proportionate. So something that is a tea that is 10 times more expensive than another tea is not going to be 10 times better tasting, in my opinion. You know, so there is a sweet, like a middle ground, and you may want to try it, but I think like $1 a gram is kind of the maximum you should pay for a very expensive tea. You know, $1 a gram is plenty. I would say that 40 cents a gram is better. You know, for a high grade tea. And beyond that, they're just getting scammed, or you're just like, wanting to say you've drunk something. I want to have more of this later. But there you go. That was my rant about it, and I'll see you next time.